Well, it's a bit of a confusing week for the waiver wire. We'll talk about that right now on Fantasy Football Today Express. I think we could call this if week for the waiver wire, Jamie, because so much of it is, well, if this guy is out, then this guy's going to be really good. So it's kind of a tough way to approach it here. Hopefully people are running their waivers on Wednesday night instead of Tuesday night. But what's your general advice this week?
I think if you're stuck at running back, and clearly there's a lot of people dealing with injuries and, not having at least DeAndre Swift and forever it's worth Rico Dowdle on a bye, we'll find out about some of the guys that have been out long term, if they're able to return, or guys coming off a bye week, for example, like Devante Adams, who's, dealing with a concussion. But, if you're down Aaron Jones, if you're down James Cook, if you're down Jordan Mason, the handcuffs there look very attractive based on their opportunities, but the matchups are so bad. It's such, I don't think I've ever seen a situation like this where you have so many guys that could be starters in such bad situations. You got Ray Davis taking on a Titans defense that's been really good against the run. You got the 49ers guys, assuming it's Guerendo, taking on a Chiefs team that's been so good against the run. You got Ty Chandler, who has a big opportunity, taking on the Detroit defense that's been so good against the run. And then Sean Tucker, if he's going to get a chance to, compete for touches with Bucky Irving again, taking on a Baltimore defense that's been so good against the run. Stop me if I've said this already. So, if you're just looking at it and saying, okay, who's going to help me the most short term of these guys? I'm going to lean on Ray Davis first, because you just saw what he did in a tough matchup against the Jets. And the one thing that, I don't think we discussed this in even the game recap, the catches, the yardage on the receptions, 42 of those came on a broken play down the field.
For Ray Davis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's,
it's almost the same thing like Guerendo. Like the last run, if he doesn't have the last run, let's just say it's a 11-yard run, right? He gets the first down, game's over, same situation. How are we feeling about Isaac Guerendo right now?
Yeah, no, you're right. But I'd be feeling pretty good about Ray Davis because he looked pretty good running the ball.
I'm just saying, like, when you look at the receiving numbers, it's a little deceiving.
Mm-hmm. And he wasn't the third down back. Ty Johnson was, but I do believe he ran more routes for the game than Ty Johnson. The top 5 teams in yards per carry allowed to running backs are Ravens, Chiefs, Titans, Steelers, and Lions. So it's 4 of those 5 are the ones that are matched up against Ray Davis, Ty Chandler, Isaac Guerendo, and Sean Tucker this week. All right. So in that case, maybe we should look more closely at the wide receivers. And I know you like a few wide receivers quite a bit.
JuJu hopefully will build off of what he did 2 weeks ago against the Saints when he had every opportunity to step up with Rashee Rice out, and he did. Over 100 yards receiving, dropped a touchdown, but still heavily involved. I got to buy into at least what I saw with my own eyes, and hopefully that's the case. And the Chiefs did the same thing. Demario Douglas and Christian Watson, it depends, I think, what you think is going to help you more. Is Douglas's reception total going to exceed the big plays for Christian Watson? I don't know where you come out on this, Adam. For me, I'm going to lean slightly toward Douglas, just with what Drake May could become. Now, Dontavian Wick's injury is something to keep an eye on. Certainly Jaden Reed's injury is something to keep an eye on there. So, and Romeo Dot, look, it's a crowded receiving core for the Packers, and you said this, Watson's playing time hasn't exactly been consistent from, where you would like to see it. So I'm going to lean slightly toward Douglas, but I don't know where you come out on it.
Yeah, I would go with Watson, but because I think about Evan Ingram, right? And last week, I had said this several times leading up to Ingram's return. Like, you got a guy who was drafted in, maybe the 6th, 7th round that's available on waivers. Why are you not getting him? Go get Evan Ingram. In our drafts, Christian Watson was going like a little bit later than Evan Ingram, and ADP was going probably a couple rounds later than Evan Ingram. But we really liked Christian Watson. So how could you not take Christian Watson if you thought, before the year started, even if Drake May were the week 1 starter, Watson versus Demario Douglas would have been a layup. However, I do think Watson could be a little bit overrated because he just isn't playing that much. And I don't know if that's going to change. It could change. He hasn't really been healthy, but a guy who playing 60% of the snaps is not really doing it for me. With the Wicks injury, maybe gets up to 75% or 80% or something like that. But I'm just going to attach myself to the better offense. The one that you don't necessarily need a lot of targets to be really good in. Just look at Jaden Reed. So I'm going to go with Christian Watson. I think I consider Demario Douglas to be kind of like Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know if you see a big difference there.
So, by the way, the Raiders just traded Davante Adams to the Jets.
You're kidding me.
Nope. We probably should just pivot. But yes,
finish up waiver wire. We'll take a break and we'll talk about that.
The thing about Douglas, you said it. Wan'Dale Robinson, Josh Downs. Like, where would we be drafting those guys right now?
10th
Ahead of Christian Watson.
I would not. Yeah, I would not. Now, if you told me Flacco was the quarterback, I would. But Downs.
Okay, so just take Downs out of it. Wan'Dale Robinson.
I'd take Watson ahead of Wan'Dale. Now listen. If I'm 2-4 and I need certain PPR points this week, give me Wan'Dale. If I'm playing any type of long-term game, any type of upside game, I'm going Watson. You don't agree with that?
I just look at what these guys are capable of doing in PPR. It's annoying. It's the argument against PPR. But, like, they're going to be 6+ catches on a week-to-week basis. And 6 for 80, those 14 points versus, Watson needs touchdowns for that.
I think the big difference between Wan'Dale and Douglas is that Wan'Dale has Malik Neighbors to contend with. Douglas could easily lead the team in targets. Never going to happen for Wan'Dale for a season. All right, we're going to take a break, finish up on the waiver wire. We'll record a separate episode on Davante Adams in just a moment. We'll be right back on FFT. All right, we're back here. Give me some more names to know. So the top names are like the replacement running backs and then Christian Watson, or sorry, not in that order, but JuJu, Douglas, Watson.
Dobbs. We didn't spend enough time on Dobbs, coming back into 2 touchdowns. I don't think the targets will be sustainable for him, but, he's touchdown dependent. We saw that last year. You have Xavier Legette.
Is Aaron Rodgers a must-add if this trade goes through?
Yes.
Right? I mean, This is really like the best receiver duo he's had since Cobb and Adams, or Nelson and Cobb, or whatever. I guess it'd be Cobb and Adams. This is crazy.
Yeah. Bye-bye Garrett Wilson, huh?
I think he could still be good. I don't know how this is going to play out. Is it so crazy to think Garrett Wilson's going to be better than? No, that's different show. More waiver wire. Tight ends. Give me tight ends.
Tight ends, you have, for me, Hunter Henry, just with the opportunity to catch passes from Drake May.
Aaron
Rodgers. Got Taysom Hill hopefully healthy with the depleted receiving core, not just this week, but moving forward. We'll see how he continues to be a part of this offense. Hopefully he stays healthy. Cade Otton is in a great spot. Zach Ertz in a great spot. All these guys have the chances to play well. So I think you're looking at, very, very solid week for tight ends.
And how about quarterbacks? I mean, you mentioned the trade is official, I guess, or
yep.
4th round pick. That could become a 2nd round pick. Okay. So
how did Buffalo not get like a 3rd round pick to get Davante Adams?
They're just giving, the Jets can have Davante Adams. We're going to trade basically Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. No big deal. We'll just throw Keon Coleman out there every week. Okay. And then quarterback, Drake May is the prize. Sam Darnold would be the prize if he's available, but then you like Drake May against the Jags.
I do like Drake May against the Jags. It's a good matchup for him. You're talking about building off a 25-point game against the Texans, and Jacksonville's been bad against every quarterback they face. They just made Caleb Williams look like a Hall of Famer the week before they made Joe Flacco look like a Hall of Famer. So hopefully May takes advantage of it, and then we see what happens moving forward.
By the way, I think you got to pick up Jacoby Myers if he's available, and then Trey Tucker, 34% roster. I know he did nothing, but could be someone that did nothing last week, but he was okay before that. All right, that's it for FFT Express. Stay tuned. Jamie and I are going to hop on soon, hopefully, and do a bonus podcast, and we will talk to you later on FFT Express.